Night. But Virginia, come on, let's get it together. We've got yet another yearbook scandal, this time involving one of the most powerful Republicans in the state, Tommy Norman, veteran of the Richmond State House. Mike Valerio is here with us. And Mike, we're nearly a week into this crisis. Yep. Do you see any resignations, anything at all happening to move this forward or backward?
No, not at all. In terms of resignations, it seems as though, Bruce, everybody is going to survive, which is a huge change from where we were at this point on Friday. And because if one person would resign, everybody involved would have to resign. So it's pretty much the prospect of mutually assured destruction rising this evening once again.
As if it possibly couldn't get any worse, another racist, inflammatory yearbook. The Virginian pilot publishing this photo from Republican Senate Majority Leader Tommy Norman's 1968 yearbook, with VMI cadets in blackface, Confederate images, and racial slurs. Norman is one of the highest-ranking Republicans in Richmond, and he had no comment today in the Capitol.
It is something that is painful for most of us to see, to hear about, and to think about.
U.S. Senator and presidential candidate Kamala Harris weighing in, not only on the searing scandals involving racism, but also now calling for a full investigation into sexual assault allegations against Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax. As for Governor Ralph Northam, he is still intent on staying in office, but resignation calls are ringing through Richmond. The Reverend Al Sharpton near the state capitol today.
I flew out of New York to tell you it's over.
Bruce, you were talking about a way forward here. Well, just within the past few minutes, the Virginia Legislative Black Caucus put out a statement, and make no mistake, this is the group that's in the driver's seat right here, and they gave three things of really how they want to move forward. First of all, they said that the governor should still resign. Second of all, they want more reassurances from the Attorney General that he is sorry, and more reassurances as to how he wants to move forward and make amends for his blackface when he was 19 years old that he admitted to yesterday. And now they want an investigation, a full investigation into these sexual assault claims made against the lieutenant governor. So we're going to see if those demands really manifest themselves in the next few days. Bruce?
Yeah, Mike, thanks a lot for that. And thanks for the distinction between what they're asking for from the governor and the attorney general. We're going to get to that in a second. Today, Maryland Governor Larry Hogan said he has never dressed in blackface. He also weighed in on whether Virginia's governor should resign. Take a listen.
The governor of Virginia should resign. It's completely unacceptable. I'm sure he's lost the confidence of the people of Virginia, and I've been very clear.
Okay, so we want to get beyond the sound bites, okay? So here's my question. After Northam, whether he goes or stays, where does this go? Where is the teaching moment or moments? Does every public official need to come out and say if he's appeared in blackface? If the answer is yes, is there an explanation, or is there's something further we can talk about? Is it possible to continue in office and still be effective? Are there teaching moments in all of this? Now, we've got a panel of Virginia residents to talk about this. Richard America Jr., Professor Emeritus at Georgetown University. Monique Acala, Chair of the Latino Democrats of Virginia. She worked on campaigns to help elect Governor Terry McAuliffe and Congressman Don Bayard. Dr. Jimmy McClellan, he's American Political History and Dean of Liberal Arts for Northern Virginia Community College. Ron Meyer, Broad Run District Supervisor, Loudoun County. He's planning to run for state senate. Richard, I want to start with you. We met for the first time today at the Y in Ruston. I was out there for the health affair, and we just started talking. Lifelong Democrat. You don't think Governor Northam should resign. Why?
That's right. He is not a personal racist, and I make a distinction between personal racism and policy racism. He is on the right side, as far as I'm concerned, on housing, education, healthcare, business development, and employment, the public policy issues that matter to African Americans, 45 million of us, and his personal expression when he was a young man is now irrelevant as relative to his Republican opponents. Conservatism is a form of policy racism, and the Republican Party is steeped in that from top to bottom.
Okay, hold it. I'm going to come back to that. Let's go to Monique. What do you think about Governor Northam? What should he do? And what should we do when this comes up again and again?
Well, we, as a Latino caucus, we issued a statement. We were calling for the governor to resign. And a lot of this, we thought long and hard. It took us, I don't know, a full 24 hours to sort of process everything. I personally can't speak to what it feels like to be an African American in Virginia. I can speak to what it feels like to see somebody like Corey Stewart or Ed Gillespie using the same type of white supremacist ideology to run for governor, and what that feels like for us as a Latino community. I think that what's really important for our leaders, especially at the gubernatorial level, at the statewide level, is to have trust built with the community, especially on issues of equity and justice.
You've got to vote just like everybody else up here, though. Should somebody come out and say, you know, I dressed in blackface, you know, 15, 20 years ago, if they own it, as the Attorney General has done, should he be given a second chance? I mean, should this be a teaching moment, or should he have to go because of that?
We've called for his resignation.
Okay. Dr. McClellan, weigh in on this.
Well, first of all, I think I have to start by saying there's nothing wrong with blackface as long as you were born with it.
Mm-hmm.
But white people using it to mock black people is unacceptable.
I have a question. So every person who dons blackface is mocking black people, in your estimation?
I think anybody who did it in the 1980s knew better.
Mm-hmm.
1980 through 1985, when these episodes apparently occurred, if you hadn't gotten the message by then, you weren't going to get it.
Right.
On the other hand, I think you have to look at people's lifetime work. And you can't judge somebody by what he or she might have done at the age of 19 and think that's the final solution. Because we've all changed our attitudes over the years on a lot of things.
Ron, weigh in on this.
It shows that we need a new generation of leadership in public policy. I'll tell you, a lot of folks actually look at me as a younger representative and say we shouldn't have younger people in office. I'll tell you, most of the folks in our generation know better than this. We're taught the racial history of blackface. We were taught how to respect everyone for their character and to support people for their backgrounds, but to not offend people like this. The thing is, people forget the history of blackface going all the way back to black actors being excluded from Hollywood, and that it was a fundamental part of the culture, excluding African Americans from being able to rise up in Hollywood.
I want all you guys to consider this. Robert Byrd served over 51 years as a U.S. Senator from 1959 to 2010. He was a member of the KKK in the 1940s, okay? We've had Hugo Black, former member of the KKK, on the Supreme Court. I'll go back to you, Richard. Just weigh in on this. Anybody of a certain age, let's say, who it turns out donned in blackface should be eliminated?
No, it's not about personal indiscretions or blackface is an expression of the ignorance of the wearer of blackface. Having said that, it's about policy. It's about tax policy. Racism is expressed through policy, tax policy, and programs.
So you're saying that, hold on.
Opposition to affirmative action is a form of racism.
Okay.
In policy terms.
Well, but to say that one race of people have to be a monolith when it comes to politics, I think is equally offensive. And I have plenty of friends. My friend DJ Jordan, running for the House of Delegates in Virginia, would take that so offensively that people have to be a monolith when it comes to politics based on the color of their skin. That is just, I mean, that is fundamentally, we need to be encouraging dialogue and encouraging these people in both parties who are perpetuating this hatred to actually learn about our history, learn about why things are offensive, so we can learn about it instead of using this as a weapon to hit people on their ideology and what they believe.
Anybody up here believe that, you know, this is the end of it? I'm from Kentucky, and I'm standing here, and I believe that there are other people in the same boat who have done the same things in the past, and they're sitting here at home tonight and know it. Should they come out, own it, as the Attorney General has done? I would recommend come out, own it. Or do you just hope nobody finds out about it? And should they come out and own it, does it become a teaching moment? Do we talk about it? Can we move on from there?
I think it was good of the Attorney General to come out and admit that he'd done that. Obviously, it would have been discovered anyway, but by coming out, he gets to have the opportunity to admit it, and then hopefully use this as an opportunity to say, this was wrong and why it's wrong. If you can't learn from what happened here, then we'll continue to make these mistakes.
You think Northam can still make a contribution, Richard?
Of course.
Whether he's in or out, what if he's out?
Well, he should not resign, and he should double down on economic development across the state. He should roll out a powerful economic development program that'll address the problems in Appalachia, in inner city Richmond.
I got you. To the others, I'm asking though,
across the
has he
state.
lost the ability to lead? In this case, because of how he's handled it, has he lost the ability to lead?
I think he has. I think that the way that he handled it, not only just the statement, but just the video that he released was also, yeah. But also, I want to add, just to Richard's point, is that one thing that we also need to consider is that Virginia is a southern state. Richmond was the capital of the Confederacy. A lot of these symbols and imagery of white supremacist ideology is something that is very pervasive and entrenched within our culture. Of course we're going to see this again. Of course every single person needs to confront all of this stuff. They need to be proactive about it, and they need to recognize the pain and the suffering that it's caused to communities, and they need to have an open and frank dialogue with the community and rebuild that trust.
Come out and own it, and let's talk about it.
And we can agree with that on a bipartisan basis, I think, especially the next generation of leaders.
Okay, I think that's excellent.
I was disappointed with Northam's statement on Saturday because he had the opportunity to come out and explain why that was wrong, but he just said, I don't think it was me.
I got you. Absolutely right. Thank you all very much. This is all important. Back in a minute.